everyone. We're getting started with week 3, and I just wanted to hop on here and give a quick little video overview of what we're working on. So as you know from the Labor Project 2 handout, we are working on this labor. Should I read that, or I think you should read this. And we are working on this project for 5 weeks, so we're going into the second week of working on it. And we're writing about how reading and writing have shaped our lives. And ultimately, we're going to write a persuasive piece that suggests if you read a text either from within the canon or outside of it. So basically, we're writing a review. And you've gone through the assignment, looked through kind of what we're doing as a whole, and we're breaking it down into small pieces over the next few weeks, and in addition to reading some different kinds of literature. So this week we're going into week 3. Let's see, here we are. So week 3 we are reading about myths. And myths are really awesome. I love the discussion that happens around myths because there's so many different cultural myths and so much amazing information to be learned. So I have a few chosen myths. They're not very long, so that's why there's quite a few of them. And then I've also included a couple of videos of myths that I thought were interesting that I thought you might want to watch. So this week we are starting our reading responses, which are a form of discussion post, and it will help us to engage with the literature that we're reading a little bit more. So we can see here, if we're on Moodle, scroll down to week 3, here's the materials to read and to watch, and we're going to write our reading response in the week 3 discussion forum. So you can see here, this discussion looks slightly different than other discussions that we've had. I'm asking you to engage with the assigned reading by thinking about and making connections with your life and other topics that we've discussed or learned. I also want you to consider whose voices are present, whose are missing, what is a piece of writing you would tell people to read from this genre, and for each of these responses, you can choose to focus on one or more of the assigned readings. But basically, these weekly discussions will be due Thursdays by 11:59 p.m. They should be about 150 words, about 2 minutes of recording on a Flipgrid if you're choosing to use Flipgrid. But I want you to talk about why it's significant, so a personal kind of reaction to the piece. You can talk about whether you liked it or you didn't like it. You can analyze it. You can discuss specific passages. This is kind of just your reaction. And then the second part is who is present in this piece. So part of learning about literature is asking these questions related to whose voices are heard most. And that's what our discussion last week about the canon was about. How much diversity is there within the traditional Western literary canon? From what we've seen, it's not very much. And so when we're thinking about the different pieces that I've selected for us to read, I want us to question, who is there? Whose ideas are there? Whose voices are present? Whose are missing? And what's a piece of writing you would tell people to read from this genre? So each week we'll be discussing a specific genre, a specific type of literature, and we're just going to kind of engage with it in this way. And this will become a standing part of the class when we're talking about different literature. So we're focusing on our reading response this week, doing some reading, thinking about myths, and then we have, of course, the labor log. And there's some optional additional labor this week. So this labor, if you choose to complete it, is totally optional. It will work towards boosting your B towards an A. So if your goal this semester is to get an A in the class, completing additional labors is a part of that. And you can review the grading contract to see more details there. But this optional labor is actually some creative writing. So if you're interested in doing some creative writing, I totally encourage you to take advantage of this because we don't get much time to do creative writing in this class, and this is a fun opportunity to do that. So that's a little bit about what we're doing for week 3. As always, if you have questions or concerns, feel free to hop on any of the English 102 Zoom student hour sessions. They've been pretty quiet thus far, so please come, even just to say hi to me, and maybe we can chat about literature if nobody else is there. And if you can't make it to those optional meetings, that's totally fine. But if you have questions that you need answered, shoot me an email. We can correspond that way, or we can set up a time to meet. Thanks.